Welcome everyone. Thanks for coming by. Chris Petri here. We're going to have a fantastic time, a fun time together here painting figures. We're going to cover a lot of information here, as well as just the basics of drawing and painting in watercolor. So you're going to be getting a lot of different information at one time, and it's helpful when you're in watercolor and you're trying to learn some new information like figure work. This is what we're going to cover. We're going to cover some smaller figures that might be in your distant paintings. So when you're doing a painting, you might need some figures in the distance. You're not looking for a real detailed type of figure, but maybe just a basic concept of one. Perfect. We got two of them right here. We do these right in the beginning of the video. Then we talk about some concepts, just general basic concepts of male and female figures. And we do these very loosely with just a little bit of grayish paint with our paintbrush. And what we do is we just cover how you can kind of take a look and just basically, if you're painting a figure in your painting, you can just create a few different details on your figures that are going to give it the male or female type of look you want. So the male figures we talk about here, simply larger shoulders, wider shoulders. Females have generally smaller diminished shoulders, wider hips, thinner waist. Males have a straighter waist going down. So you're going to learn all these things as we go through doing our compositions here, covering the figure in watercolor. And then toward the end, we're going to do two beautiful figures, a male and a female. We got a male seated here on a really cool beach scene in a nice beach chair doing a painting along on the beach here. And we have a wonderful picture of a woman here, maybe shopping in maybe a vacation type scene. So we have lots of fun stuff to cover here. Let's not waste any time. Let's get started. I know you're going to enjoy this. And we'll get started in about 5 seconds or so. All right, be right back. All right, so we're moving along here, and you've seen the some of the figures that we've done for this video, just here, in the first 30 seconds or so, or first minute of the video. So now we're kind of going to get started, and the first figures we're going to do are sort of like beach scene figures. I think that would be fun to start with. What do you think? We all really enjoy painting beach scenes, sand, ocean, palm trees, kind of like those really fun boats and things like that. We all seem to really enjoy those scenes of the ocean and the water and the lakes and the pools and figures and fun, like that summertime kind of feeling. So I know a lot of people, I know many of you enjoy those type of tutorials that we've done in the past. I really have seen that most of my best videos and the ones that people, all of you like to watch are these type of videos where we're doing like beach scenes and sand and ocean and things like that. So I always like to do a lot of those. So I'm hoping you're happy that I do those quite frequently. And so we're going to kind of work in the same kind of line of thinking with those type of paintings and compositions, doing some figures. So the first thing I wanted to kind of just cover is this is a fun type of tutorial where we're just going to do some practice compositions and work out some ideas. So this is not so much a finished painting video, but these are some of the really important videos, tutorials we have to do, these practice sessions, because this is really going to give you some great insights into doing figures and things like that. Especially on the beach scenes like we're going to do in the future, and some of the ones you might try from my book or from the videos that I've done in the past. I've done hundreds and hundreds of videos on YouTube with oceans and sand and beaches and all that kind of thing. So you can always go back and look at those too as well, and then maybe incorporate some figures into those as well when you're doing them. So in any case, let's just have some fun here, enjoy ourselves, talk about what we're going to kind of develop here in this tutorial as we go. So the first thing I thought was like maybe let's do some looser type figures, some more free-flowing, fun type figures. We're not going to get too much involved with a lot of details. So kind of doing the basics of things. So the first thing I thought was maybe let's do a few, maybe we'll do a one figure here. Let's see. I think I'll start up top here. And then maybe we'll just do one single figure. So I'm just going to do the head shape first, and then I'll do this a little darker so you can see. So I'm just going to do a head shape basically, or like an oval or a round type shape for the head. And then I'm going to just go across with kind of like a straight shape like that across where the shoulders are. And then we're just going to taper that down. So we're going to have, maybe over here we'll have a hand with a towel. And we'll come down, we'll make sure we see our waist is about here. So we're going to have a person with some blue jeans on, maybe walking along the beach. And then we'll kind of bring the legs down here. So one leg we're going to leave a little longer like this. And then another leg we're going to leave over here just a little bit shorter. And that's going to presuppose that this person's walking and their right leg is forward. So once we start painting, you're going to see it a little more clearly. I can kind of tell you right now that I've made this leg longer, and then the right leg I've made shorter. And again, the reason I made that right leg shorter is because we're sort of seeing this person stepping forward with their right foot. So their right foot is moving forward, so it's going to be shorter looking, and it's not going to be it's not going to look as long in the painting, so that and drawing. So that's just pretty much a simple way to look at it. And then what we'll do is we'll do some shadowing too. So we're going to pretend in this figure the sunlight is going to be coming from this direction. So we'll maybe even make a little insignia up here. I like to do these insignias, these little sketches, just a spotlight like that, which is basically a triangle, and then a little bit of small lines, kind of like small lines like that, kind of jutting out from this triangle, which is our spotlight. And that's just telling us the sunlight's coming from here and going this way. So now we're going to see that there's a shadow over here. So we're just going to do a small kind of scribbly shadow. We're going to paint that in, but we just want to draw it in so that we remember when we go in and start painting, we're going to have the shadow for this figure on the right-hand side of the figure on the sand here. And that's going to really like kind of tie the figure down into the sand on the beach here. So this is someone walking on the beach. They might have some jeans on, bare feet. Maybe they have no shirt on. Maybe they just have maybe a towel in their hand here. So we'll put a towel in their hand like that. So they're just walking on the beach. And again, the fun thing about this is we're just doing some really basic shapes here. You can kind of see. Maybe I have his waist. His waist is a little bit low. Let me just move his waist up a little bit so that his pants are a little higher like this. I think that looks a little better. So you can kind of think of it as the upper body is about the same from the head to the waist is approximately the same dimensions as the waist down to the bottom of the feet. So if you can imagine, the body's sort of divided in half. 4 head lengths down to the waist, and then 4 head lengths down to the bottom of the feet. So if you were to draw 4 head lengths, 1, 2, 3, 4, your four head lengths would be about the waist, and then if you drew another 4 head lengths, that's about down to the bottom of the heel of the foot, or the bottom of the foot. That's just an approximate. If you do that approximation when you're doing your figures, you're going to come up pretty good with your dimensions of your figure. All right, so we have that. Let's do a little painting. So I'm going to grab a brush here, and I might use my travel brush, and we'll get some water. So I don't have my water pail on camera right now. I don't think it's important to have that. Maybe we could do it. That won't be a big deal if we just take our over here. Maybe I'll put my water glass here, and maybe I'll put let's see if I can find okay, I found one of my sponges here in the studio. I just like to take a sponge, dampen it up with a little bit of water, and then set it down by my water pail. Pour some water in the glass, and therefore we can rinse off our brush, take a little bit of water off on the sponge, and then we can go grab some paint and start painting. So let's do that. I rinse off the brush, take off a little bit of water, check off some water onto the sponge, and then we come over here and let's say we said we were going to do some blue jeans, so we'll make some cerulean blue. Cerulean blue works great for blue jeans. You could use cobalt blue too. Cobalt blue works good. Maybe a mixture of cobalt blue and cerulean blue might look really good for blue jeans, and then maybe a little purple even too, a little bit of purple. So we'll just mix up some colors before we start, and then a little bit of brown mixed in there too. So we'll have some brown just to maybe make a little bit of a grayish, shadowy maybe kind of color, just to have to work and incorporate into the painting, this composition. Okay, so let's start out with some of the blue, cerulean and cobalt blue, and we'll just start out here on the pants, the blue jeans, and we'll just do that. We'll just get the light blue color in there. Carefully, I have my hand resting on the paper, and I just take my brush and, you know, touch down my brush to the paper and just work the colors onto the paper, staying inside the lines that we've drawn. We don't want to start flowing outside of the lines we've drawn, our pencil lines. We want to stay within that. I mean, it can go a little bit outside of your lines that you've drawn, but your pencil lines are basically your guide to where you're going to place your paint strokes. So you have your blue jeans there, then we'll take a little bit of that brown and purple, and we'll make a little bit of shadow here and there. And we get that in pretty quickly. We get that brown shadow in a little quickly too, just to get a little shadow color on the blue jeans there. And then what we can do is we'll let that start to dry and set up, and we'll go up here and we'll get some flesh tone colors. So flesh tone colors, we can do some burnt sienna. I like to use burnt sienna for flesh tones, cadmium red, and then also yellow ochre. So those are like my three favorite colors for flesh tones. For the most part, you can start out with that. For a darker skin person, you can go with a little bit of burnt umber. So for darker skin people, you can work in some darker burnt umber, and then even some raw umber too. But I think if you stick with these colors here, you're going to have a pretty easy time getting a good flesh color for this figure. And it all depends too on what you're doing. But for here, this is kind of like a this is a beach scene. So this person he doesn't have a shirt on. He's getting a tan, and you know, sunbathing. Okay, and there's holding his towel. And then what we'll do is we'll make a little bit of a shadow. So we'll go a little bit darker with some burnt umber here, maybe a little bit of purple. And we'll just put a little bit of purple and burnt umber under there, under his back, like that, on his lower back, which just gives us that feeling of a little bit of light on the top of his upper torso. And you can even lighten up by taking a tissue and tapping on some of the paint on the upper body, like that. And then we're going to do some dark hair. So let's give this figure some dark hair. Burnt umber, touch of French ultramarine blue. So we'll give this figure a good dark brown hair, which is burnt umber, French ultramarine blue. And I think with those two colors you can get some really good dark hair, like that. Like that. And as you can see, that's pretty good. That actually is, let me zoom in just a little bit more if I can. And then what we want to do next is, instead of painting in the sand, just for, you know, to keep this portion of doing this one figure, we don't want to make this a long drawn out process. We'll pretend that maybe we already have some sand color on the paper, but we're just going to do some shadowing. Let's do some shadowing, just so we have some shadow underneath the figure. That's going to be purple and brown. Let's mix purple with a little bit of brown and, you know, a good amount of water. So it's going to be a little bit of a lighter, not too dark. You can see that's kind of a middle tone, light, actually a light to middle tone. And then we just take that and we do that. So we make his body there, That's the shadow. And then his upper body up here, like that. And just get it on the paper. Quickly, efficiently, the shadow. And the shadow should not be overworked. You should really just almost like put your shadow in there really fast, kind of scribbly. Do it like a scribbly kind of look. You don't want to sit here and work for like a minute or two. This shadow that you put underneath your figure should only take you 10 seconds. You just want to go in really fast. Trust me, shadows always look best when you go really, really quick and just get it in there fast. And of course, we already drew in the pencil line underneath this figure for our shadow. So you already have your pencil line to use to keep your shadow realistic and looking good. And then when you go in to paint it, you're just literally mixing a little bit of purple with a touch of burnt umber to gray down your purple. And again, you just go in and do maybe 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You should spend about only 5 seconds or 10 seconds at most to do your shadows. When I used to do shadows when I first started watercolor painting, you know, my first couple years or so, I used to sit there and try to do like these really interesting shadows, and I realized after maybe 5 years that, wow, I spent all that time trying to do really intricate shadows or really carefully do my shadows, but they didn't look that good. And then I started to see other watercolor artists that I was following, and I was realizing that when they did their shadows, they just put them in really fast, really quick, but they did them carefully. They made them, you know, the direction of the sunlight. So if the sunlight's coming from here, obviously our shadow is going to be on this side of the figure over here. But other than that, I did it really quickly and efficiently, and that's how we want to do it. It definitely, what do you think? Have you tried shadows a few times before? Or are you trying it right now and saying to yourself, wow, yeah, this really does work great if you do it really quick and fast? And so I'm hoping you're going to kind of see the value in that the shadows are really look best when they're done quickly and just, you know, efficiently. Okay, so maybe one more thing we'll do is we'll take that there and we'll make that a green. Let's make our towel a viridian and sap green color. So his towel is going to be a sap green and viridian color like this here. Okay, that's his towel. Maybe a little bit of French ultramarine blue for the right-hand side over here. A little darker over here, like that. And the same thing with the towel. Towel should be the beach towel here should be very quickly done. 5 seconds, 10 seconds at most. And there we have it. A wonderful figure rendered, you know, quickly, efficiently. Maybe we put a little, I'm going to put a little bit of a line over here. I'll blot that line up over there. And maybe a little bit of golden color, some yellow ochre, just for some sand color. Maybe we'll put a little bit of sand on there. So I'll do a little bit of sand and do a little splashing for some sand kind of feel, like the speckles of sand, and just to give it a little more, just so we have some sand on the beach here, just like that. You don't really have to do that. I'm just trying to add a little bit of interest to the picture, give it a little bit of, kind of explains it a little better. With a little bit of sand there. All right, so what we're going to do is let's, even if you want to, which is kind of fun, sometimes you can just kind of section off your area with some pencil line. So what I'll do is I'll go around this with a pencil line, like this. Like that. Okay, so then we can section this off and make a little square around this figure. And we can even put down here a beach scene figure. Beach scene figure, that's all. And then we might save this piece of paper for future paintings. You can save some of these compositions we do together, and you save them for paintings in the future. You might even have like folders. You might, I did this when well, actually I still have this. I usually have folders in my studio, and then I'll put in like figures, and then I'll keep like a folder with all my figure paintings in it that I do, like compositions like this, and I'll put them in that folder. And then if I'm kind of like doing a painting and I'm going to add some figures to it, I say, oh, well, let me pick up some ideas from my figures folder. And then I'll go to my figures folder and I'll take out my compositions that I've done over the years of my figure paintings like this. And then I'll say, oh, I'm going to use this one. This one looks really good. I can use this for or another one that I have in there. I might have a dozen or 2 dozen figure compositions like this, or even more, or even open up a couple books. I have other watercolor books in my studio I use, or I go online and look up Google search watercolor figures. You'll find stuff there too. So you just use whatever you can, kind of be inventive, be creative, use different sources. You know, my videos, I do figures on my videos. I have hundreds of videos again that I have in my archives. I've done numerous figure videos, so you can look those up too. But in any case, you know, use whatever you can to accomplish whatever painting you're going to create. Or if you're just doing compositions with me here, then that's fine. We're just working on this at this point in time. All right, so I'm going to take a quick break. We'll come back and we'll do another couple figures. Let's do something a little different. Maybe we'll do maybe some more loose figures, but maybe like in a city scene. So we won't do a beach scene. Next, we'll do like a city type scene, and we'll do a couple figures in like a street scene style. Okay, all right, so we'll be right back. All right, so we're moving along here, and we're going to work on some city scene type figures. But the first thing I wanted to mention was sometimes when you're doing watercolors, you'll notice that your colors will lighten up a lot when it dries. So I took a break for maybe 10, 15 minutes, and you can kind of see here with this figure, I'm happy with the blue jeans. They look really nice, faded looking. The upper body looks fine with a little bit of the shadow on the lower back, and the shoulders are a little bit lighter. And then, you know, the hair looks fine. But I noticed the shadow looks a little light. So if your shadows look a little light after you're done painting, or anything else looks a little bit light compared to what you want to see, you just add a little more color to it. So I'm going to add a little bit of cobalt blue and purple, like this. And we already have it, it's quite a bit grayish looking now. So we can add the purple and cobalt blue to this shadow, like this. And I'm painting it right in the same area that the other paint is. The only thing is I'm adding it a little bit darker, like that. And that's it. I just wanted to make it a little darker. And trust me, right now the way this looks right here, it's going to dry even a little lighter than this. It always dries about half the amount of the value that you see. So if we're talking tonal values, which are basically your light to dark or dark to light, when you put a wash down on your watercolor paper, most times it dries about 50% lighter than what you put it down on your paper. When you're putting your washes down on your paper, you just remember, especially like darker colors, darker washes will often lighten up about 50% from what they're originally looking like on your paper when you place your paint onto the paper. So that's why I went over this with a second wash, just to make it look a little bit darker. Shadows are a little bit darker than being barely visible. You can see shadows. They're usually quite, visible and look kind of dark, They're not barely, the way it was looking, it sort of became barely visible. And so I just wanted to make sure I get those shadows in looking, a little bit dark there, and I think that looks much better. All right, so let's do our other figures here. Let's do some city style figures. Maybe a city scene we're working on. Could be anything really, but these are going to be even more loose. This is not so much that loose of a figure painting here of this figure, but we'll do something even looser. Let's do some darker figures. And I'm just going to do kind of like a, kind of a shoulders wide, head, taper down, almost like a pyramid, like that. And then maybe we have some legs. So kind of the similar style as this here. And we'll do the same thing too. We're going to put a shadow to the right, just like this. We'll have the same thing. So the light's coming from the same direction. We'll put our little light insignia up here, like that, just to make sure we And but we're just going to make this a little more carefree and fun looking. So we'll make it darker too. We're just going to make it actually all dark, one color wash. So let's take our blue, French ultramarine blue. We'll mix some brown in there, which is burnt sienna. So we have some burnt sienna, French ultramarine blue. I'll rinse my brush off, and then I'm going to go in and get some black too. So we'll use some black paint too, which is I use Payne's Gray and Ivory Black for my black colors. So then we just want to do that. We want to make them dark, these figures here. And then we just kind of put these on like this. See how I'm just following that triangular shape like that? So that's the top of the figure like this, and then the legs going this way, and then we have the other leg going that way, like that. And maybe this person's holding a briefcase. Maybe it's a city scene. They're busy, they have their briefcase, they're walking down the street. And then we'll add some shadow, and I'll just take a little bit of that black and brown and blue mixture we made, and then we'll take some purple and mix it in with that, just to give it a little kind of a purple tint to it. And we'll do the shadow just like that. And again, I drew it in there, but quickly, right? I didn't do much more than 5 seconds here, just like that. And that's good. And what's simple about this figure is it's all one tonal value. It's just like really a black with some purple and some brown in it, and blue. And you can get a really nice rendering of a figure like this. This might be really a real fun figure to do if it's far in the distance, like if you're creating a city scene and you paint this figure in the far distance of the painting, so you're not really, it's not going to be close up in the painting where you're going to see all the details. It just might be in the shadows of the painting, but you just want to get a figure into your painting, so you just want to make it dark so that you can really see it clearly if it's in the far distance of your painting. So this wouldn't be something you would, draw in the foreground of your painting. This would be something that might be in the far distance of your painting, where you just see someone in the, the street scene, maybe far away, and you just see like a shadow of a person like that, with a little, bit of shadow on the ground, on the street. And you could put a little bit of shadow like this here, and a little bit of color, and maybe a little couple splashes, just to make it a little fun here. So we make our street, maybe, so this is like the street here, just to have a little bit of a, maybe we add a little bit of, we'll just add a little bit of that in there, add a little color to your street like that. And I'll blot up a little bit of paint with my tissue. And I think that looks good. So you can see how this can be really effective. Again, in the far distance of a painting where you're not really, this is more in the foreground where you see all the details, blue jeans, a towel, you see this figure's tan and their hair. And in this one here, you just see a dark shadow, basically, in the far distance of a painting. So this wouldn't be, something you want to really put right in the foreground of your painting, but it would look great if it's in the further distance. And then we'll do the same thing too. We'll take this and we'll make this another composition here, and we'll pencil around it just so we can kind of section it off like that. And then we can call this one a city scene distant figure. And it helps too if you can jot down a few notes with these compositions. This way, in the future, if you do create a couple folders, or maybe you have a shoebox, or you have something where you keep some of your compositions and paintings that you're doing on a constant basis, you'll be able to put them in there, and then when you go back and look, you go, oh yeah, I remember I did this one. It's a city scene distant figure. So you'll kind of know, and then it'll all snap back into place, and you'll go, oh yeah, I remember we did this, and we talked about how this is kind of a distant figure you'd see in the picture, kind of small. This would be really like a small figure in a city scene perhaps, or even a farm scene or a landscape where the figure's far in the distance and you just see a little small shadow of a person there. And then over here, this one here is a beach scene figure, and this we could say is close up, foreground. So you could make notes for yourself, and they're helpful so that explains things when you come back to it maybe a year from now or half a year from now when you're doing some figures and you need some ideas. You come back and you grab your folders that you saved your compositions like this, and it'll all just come back to you, and you'll remember what we did here, and you'll have a fantastic time incorporating this into your compositions and your paintings. All right, so we're going to do a few more. We'll do maybe another 2 or 3, and we'll do some more. Let's do some more detailed figures beyond these. These are kind of more your basics. We'll do a couple more, seated, maybe like in a chair, maybe a beach chair. Maybe we'll do another beach scene with a seated figure in a beach chair. We'll try that. How does that sound? Hopefully you'll like that. I think you're really going to enjoy that. So that's what I'll do next. So I'm going to just change around my setup here. I'm going to change out this paper, and then we'll get started again. I'll move my glass and my sponge and things, and we'll get started in a few minutes. And I always mentioned, hey, if you like this video and videos like this that we do with compositions and doing things more on a kind of a study basis versus more of just creating a finished painting, if you like these type of videos, just thumbs up, let me know. Leave me some comments in the comment section. I'm always trying to make sure you are seeing the type of videos you like on my channel. I don't want to create videos that you're not going to watch and be interested in. So I'm always asking for your feedback. Let me know what you think of these style videos. If you like these better, or if you like doing finished paintings, or you like them both the same. Always I welcome your ideas, your thoughts in the comment section, of course. And we're going to have lots of fun here going forward in the future with this type of format where I want your feedback. Someone gave me this idea actually in the comment section, and I haven't done this type of video in a while. Someone mentioned to me in the comment section, hey Chris, can you do a video on figures? Is it possible? Can you do that? And then I just thought to myself, wow, yeah, I haven't done one of these in a long time, covering some figures that we can incorporate into our paintings. So that's why I'm doing it. And I want to take your ideas and your thoughts and incorporate them into this channel, because it's important. I'm here for you, working for you actually, to help you with your watercolors, help you to get to the next level, to do better paintings, and then I know you'll be happier, and that's going to be a great thing. I want to see everyone really progress in their paintings and do a great job and have fun with it. And it's no sense painting if we're not happy and we're not getting some really good progress going. So I want you all to have great progress. So stick with me here. Hit the subscribe button below on the right-hand side if you want to keep seeing more videos. And if you're just here for the first time, welcome. Thank you for coming by. I'm so happy you're here to paint with me in watercolor. You click the subscribe button. This way you don't lose me. You'll stay here on this channel. Each week you'll see my new videos coming out, and you just can also let me know in the comments section by typing in a 1 that it's your first time. I'll say hi to you in the comments section. And, anytime anyone has any questions, of course, feel free to leave some comments in the comment section. I like to be there and always touch base with everyone there in the comment section. All right, I'll be right back. We'll start on another couple of figures. All right, so let's get started now on our third figure. We'll do maybe a female figure here. So the first 2 figures, you can make any of your figures male or female. You can adjust them a little bit. I think with females, usually you might make the hair a little longer, and you can make the shoulders a little bit thinner, or I should say less wide. Males typically have wider shoulders, and women typically have thin, their shoulders are diminished. They're not as wide usually as males' shoulders. And then women's hips are usually wider. So usually you can flare out the hips of a figure, and that usually is a good strong note for someone that's looking at your figures, that the hip area is wider and flared out for females, and then males are their hips are more straight. So those are kind of like a couple little indicators you can use for showing your figures to be male or female, because especially the way we're drawing these figures right now is we're not drawing them very, accurately, or let's say real detailed and close up. We're kind of drawing these figures more loose and fun, more for like accompany, they accompany our paintings, whether we're doing seascapes, landscapes, cityscapes, whatever our scenes that we're going to draw. Maybe we want to add in some figures. So if you want to add in figures, these are the perfect ways you're going to add in figures. And it's not going to be like you're trying to add in really highly detailed figures. You just want to get the basic idea, the head, the shoulders, the waist and the legs. If you get those kind of few things in, you're pretty much set. I meant to say too, just for a quick demonstration, I just wanted to make note of this because this is really helpful. There's a few things, if you really remember, that are really a key thing to recall when you're doing figures. It'll help a lot, especially if you're going to do a figure in, let's say, if you're going to do a figure more in a profile. Like, so if you're going to make a figure and you're going to see the figure from the side, maybe I'll take some paint and just kind of note it with some paint here. So we'll just take some of our paint that we already have mixed here. So if you're doing a figure in profile, you know, mainly you're going to have your head first. So you'll have your head shape first for the top of your figure. A key thing, if you can remember this and kind of make a note of this, it'll really, again, make your paintings look great when you add figures in. If you just remember that the back of your figure is going to be slanted up here like this, and then come down like this toward the waist. So the back is like this, and then the chest area is lower like this. And then if you're doing a female, it's kind of the same thing. The back is higher up like this on an angle, and then the chest is lower. So even if you're doing a male or female figure, so if this is maybe a female figure like this, like that, maybe you have a female figure like this. And then if you have a male figure like this, you know, you have the back out like this, and the chest is lower like this, and then it tapers back down like this. And then, of course, you know, you can make your legs down this way here. You know, a little bit of a bump out for the gluteus maximus. But this can really be a big help, where you kind of keep your, so this might be the nose here. This might be my nose, kind of big. And, but again, the back is up higher, so your back comes out here and then it goes down, and your chest is lower like this and comes down like that. So the chest is lower, the back is higher. So you'll always benefit if you're going to do a profile of a figure by remembering that really key design of your figure. So if you're going to do your figure, you just want to make sure your back is higher here, like that, and then your chest is lower like this. It angles lower and then goes in. And we'll just fill this in. So I'm just trying to make it a little bit darker so it looks a little bit more, stands out a little bit more on the video. But I hope that is kind of helpful, just to kind of remember that key indication of a profile. So when you're doing a figure in profile, it really helps a lot. And that's just for profile, more or less. And while we're at it, while we're working on that, let's do another, we mentioned this just a few minutes ago, but we'll do it one more time too. And these are fun to do. I hope you'll do these too. I hope you'll do these type of sketches, even on some printer paper, where you just take your brush and paint some figures without even drawing anything with pencil or anything like that. Just have some fun, do some free style painting where you just grab some color. So here I'll grab some blue and brown. And then now what we were talking about before is like for the male and female figures. So the female, you have the head there. The shoulders are not quite as wide for the females. So you would have, the shoulders are kind of more diminished for the female. Now this is if you're looking at a female or either from the front or the frontal or from the back. And then females have the wider hips. So their hips come out like this. and then they taper down like this. Their legs taper down like that. So that's just sort of putting some flair on the hips like that and making the shoulders a little bit diminished here, so you don't have as wide a shoulders. You're going to do fine with your figures. And then if you're going to do the male figure, you're going to do wider shoulders, usually, like that. And then the male figure, the waist is thin. So just doing the shoulders more diminished for the female. Male's shoulders are wider on average. Doesn't make, not everyone is the same. Certain people have, their anatomy is, everyone's anatomy is totally different, unique and different. So some females have wide shoulders, some have very diminished shoulders, some males have diminished shoulders or wider shoulders. It can be, you know, it's, you know, again, not everyone is, everyone's skeletal configuration is different, and genetics and all these different things play into that. But just to make a mental note of just these few things, if you want something to read or look more like a male figure, you know you're going to make the shoulders a little bit wider, like that, and the waist thinner here. Female, you're going to flare out the waist to make a little bit of a hips, more of the hips coming out on from the waist, and the shoulders are a little diminished. They're not as wide as males usually on average. But again, it's totally, you know, each person is different, and so, but those are another couple of things we can always keep in mind as we go. All right, so let's keep moving along here. And I hope you will try those fun sketches with your, just some paint and your brush on some paper. Now we're going to do our, let's do a female figure standing. So I'll start out with the head up here. And then I'll maybe flare out some hair like that. So I'm just going to do some fun Okay, so we said the figure, the human form, is usually 4 head lengths to the waist, and then, so already I can see I need to make my waist lower. So let me do that. I kind of started out, let's try it. Let's say what head length is here, then we go down 4 to the waist. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so I kind of was quite a bit. There's the waist. Now once we hit the waist section, then we flare out. Female figure, so we're going to make the hips a little bit wider. And then another 4 head lengths down to the bottom of the feet. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And you can do that really light sketch to kind of get that feel with your circles. So your head is a circle, basically, an oval. So if you have your head up here and you start up here with a head like that, size, then you just know you got to make equal size ovals going down. So you need 4 of these to get to the waist, to the belt line. 1, 2, 3, 4, belt line. Another 4 head lengths down to the bottom of the feet. 1, 2, 3, approximately 4. There we go. So now you have the proper proportions of your figure. Just, you know, simple way to do it, nice and quick. You don't have to spend hours measuring and all these type of things. No, just use your head length, and just remember that human form's approximately 8 head lengths from top to bottom. So your waist is your halfway point, 4 head lengths to the waist, another 4 down to the bottom of the feet, and you kind of have it. People will sometimes argue and say it's a little different than that, but if you use that kind of general format, you'll be good to start with, or, you know, as you go. All right, so now we're going to do the leg here. I'm going to flare this leg out a little bit, like this. Like this. And this this way, like that. And again, we're not going to go too detailed. And then I'm just going to take the arm over here and just put the arm over here like so. And we might have a package here, a bag, or a purse like that. And that's all I'm going to do. And this over here is kind of this shoulder, this side of the figure, this female figure. The shoulder is here, but you don't see the arm as much. Maybe I'll put a touch of the arm there, maybe not. But okay, so now we can kind of see that's a female figure standing, a little bit of shadow there at the bottom. Here, maybe we'll make the light coming from here. So I'll make my light insignia here, like that. And we'll make our shadow over here a little bit, like so. And then let's take a quick break. We've been working 10, 15 minutes at least. We'll take a break, we'll come back and we'll paint this. And you'll see how much fun it is just painting this, getting it in quickly. No fussy paints or colors or anything like that. We're just going to work on getting some figures in here, practicing them, getting the shapes correct, and kind of scaling them a little bit using our using the unit of measure of the human head. And we're going to now paint in this fun figure here. And we have the paints already are pretty much ready to go. I just have to maybe clean up the palette a little bit and we'll get started. So let me do that while I turn off the camera. And then, maybe I'll do that when we come back, and then we'll finish up. Okay, we're going to get started again here, and let's get some colors going. I thought maybe we'd just clean up our palette a little bit. It's always good to maybe just we wipe up the palette a little bit. We take some water and we can just give a quick cleanup of our palette. This way we can start out with fresh colors like that. I usually like to keep some of this underneath my palette so it doesn't move around as much. Okay, that water will do okay. It's a little bit, we're not doing anything too light as far as shadowing. And we can use this water. This water's not too muddy at this point. It's still looking good. All right, so let's start out. We're going to do some darker washes here. Let's do burnt umber, French ultramarine blue. So we'll keep our darks up here, blue, burnt umber here, like that. Rinse off the brush, dry off a little bit of water. We're going to do some cerulean blue here, cobalt blue, cerulean blue, French ultramarine blue. We're going to make this kind of more dark. Burnt sienna too, maybe a little bit of burnt sienna. All right, let's do that. Maybe a little bit of red, some cadmium red for maybe the flesh tones in the hair. Yellow ochre and cadmium red makes a really good flesh tone, like that. Okay, maybe some hair, maybe some raw umber for hair with some burnt sienna. Pretty much similar colors though, you know, maybe the warm colors here for the flesh colors in the hair, and then some for the clothing, some blue and brown. I think that'll be fine. Maybe a little bit of red here, like that. All right, I think that looks pretty good. I'll start with the hair up here. A little bit darker. The hair is over here on this part, the lower section of the hair. And then the light's coming from the top up here. So we're going to see a little more light up here. A little more darker over here, like that. Maybe some red, like that. Okay. And a little more darker there, like so. That. Then we'll do some of this here on the shoulders, some red, burnt sienna on the shoulder tops here, just to kind of keep a lighter wash there. And then as we move lower, we're going to use the darker washes here. Like this. And we're going to mix that up into there and then flow it down here and then make some more burnt umber and French ultramarine blue, burnt umber, burnt sienna. Plenty of, and then we'll just go darker here. And we'll just mix all the darks in here. Rinse off the brush. I'll use some more burnt sienna. So we can just kind of mix around and get some different washes here. So it will be darker there. And then maybe some blue. And again, I'm trying to keep this more of a darker wash. Like this. Okay, it's not perfect, but I try to keep the proportions somewhat as best I can do it. And then this here, a little darker there. And then some more red over here for maybe the arm over there. And then some flesh tones here for the arm. Like so. And then maybe we have and we'll just do a little bit of just a quick, easy couple of a little bit of a wash and some and I'm going to make this darker. And I think the reason I went darker with this is because on camera it's going to look a lot better. You're going to kind of see more of the idea of the whole picture. And then we have the, again, our shadowing. Not much time, maybe 5-10 seconds on your shadow, and that's it. Just get some like that. A couple splashes I do. Then maybe over here we'll do a little. Just like that. Just a little bit of okay, so that is a standing female figure. I'll go around again with my pencil just to do a border around it so that we can kind of have it as our final composition. And we'll just put standing female figure. And that's good. So now we're going to move on to one more. Let's do one more figure. We'll do a seated pose. I always like those. Do you like those seated poses, like chairs and things like that? Good. I hope you'll enjoy those because that's what we're going to do next. We're going to do actually a beach style scene with a beach chair and someone just sitting in the chair, kind of more simple. We'll be looking from behind, seeing a figure seated in a chair. It'll be fun, kind of like straightforward, not too much, again, details, just kind of really quick and easy. We'll cover how to get that drawing in there first, do a little bit of scaling on things, and then we'll have another rendered figure after this one, and we'll be wrapped up. I think we'll have done 4 figures, and I think that's good for this session. And then we'll come back again and do more figures. And of course, if you really like figures, give me a thumbs up. Send me a comment in the comment section. Say, hey, yeah, I really want to do more figures. I need to practice up on them, and we should do more on the channel. If you're not so interested, well, then I won't see too many comments, and then I know, most of you probably are just happier doing other things versus figures. So whatever you want to do, that's what I'm here for. So I'll be right back. I'll just put down a new sheet of paper, and then we'll get started again on one more figure. All right, so we're going to get back again here and started with our final figure. We're going to do a seated pose. We're going to do like maybe a beach scene with a beach chair and just maybe a seated figure with a hat, and we'll see how it turns out here. Let's start out here. Let's maybe we'll start. So I'm going to take the beach chair, I'm going to make it about here, and I'm going to go across on an angle like so, like that. I might even take a ruler just to kind of get myself a good angle here. So I'm going to take my ruler like so, and this chair has a like a pole that kind of goes down into the sand here. So I'm going to make that kind of like that, just to give me an angle there. And then it goes up like this on an angle to the bottom of the chair. So let me just get a couple little angles going to, that should be good. I might also do maybe there's another chair behind this one, just so we can kind of hide things a little bit. With watercolor, with art, you just want to sometimes, don't be afraid to, like, if it's going to be easier for you to maybe hide a few things and like put something in front of something. I'm going to make myself another chair in front of this one, just to give me a little bit of, I'm covering the back of this chair where there's some more complicated lines and things like that. I'm just working from memory, trying to get myself back into the swing of things. But I remember this is a similar chair I use. This is the beach chairs I use. They're gadabouts from Britain. And they're great. They really are super comfortable. So there we go. I'm going to make the gadabout chair like that. And then I'm going to make the figure here seated. Maybe I'll pretend it's myself here. And maybe I'm painting. So I'm just going to draw my shoulders over here. Could be anybody. Might be you. Maybe I'm drawing you out here on the beach doing some painting. Maybe one day we'll all meet up and go on the beaches and paint somewhere really interesting. So I'll do that. And then the lower arm here and the elbow. And then maybe there's the elbows here. And then there's so this might be, so I'm just kind of working out maybe an idea of someone here painting. Maybe we're doing a painting here. And there's maybe an easel over here. And then we have our leg there coming down here. And again, I made another chair over here. I'll make the chair a little wider over here. So what I'm trying to do is make my life easy and put this chair in front of this figure to sort of hide things so I don't have to draw as much information. There we go. So now I've kind of hidden the leg over there. So you know. And all I have to do now is we'll do the back of the neck and the hat. Let's see how that works out. So we'll do that there, back of the head. Let's do the hat over here. Like that. I made that too wide. I think that needs to be about there. So I made that a little bit too wide. And that's about the hat there. Okay, and there's some hair there and the hat. We'll draw that in shadow. So we're going to paint most of this in. So as long as we're getting the basic idea of the paint going okay, and we have the and then I'll maybe just change this arm a little bit here and do it this over here. I'm not sure. That's a little tough to do this angle. So I won't worry about the arm too much. I'm just going to see if I can get maybe the brush here. Like that. We won't make a big deal of this. Let's just get the overall idea of it. And then we'll do that. We'll get the, this goes down here. So we have the frame of the chair, the aluminum poles of the chair, in the sand here, like that. And that should be good. We're just going to have some fun here. We're not looking to create a, museum painting or anything like that. We're just having fun. And then what we'll do is also, I'm going to do another quick spruce up the palette here a little bit. Just get some of the colors off that we used before. And I'll also use my spritzing bottle here just to get this paint a little bit moist there. These are great, the Holbein spritzer bottles. Spritz the paint a little bit, moisten it up a touch if you're working a lot and you're leaving your palette open. It tends to dry up a little bit, the paints, so always good to have that. All right, so now let's make the chair, let's use black, ivory black and Payne's gray, touch of burnt umber, a little bit of water. We'll make this a little bit of blue as well. And then let's just get in here and do some darks. So we're going to get the darks in first. Here we're doing alla prima painting. So I'm just going to take my brush, get the top of the chair in here, like that. Get some good dark in there, like so. And then as we go, it lightens up a little bit under here. Like that. All right, that's looking good. I might have to go with a larger brush now. I'll do this later though. I'll leave this. We'll use a larger brush to finish this over here, but let's continue over here with the figure. Now let's add in some yellow ochre and some cobalt blue. We'll just make our shirt over here. And we'll just try to keep our shirt like this, lighter. Like this. Kind of, we get some color on there. Some shadow colors. And I'm trying to mix up some gold and some blue mixed in with some of these colors here. And there's some sunlight over here. So the light's coming from this direction. So let's not forget, let's do our light insignia over here. Can you see that? Up here? I hope, yeah, I'm just checking my camera here. I have a viewfinder with my video camera, so I just want to make sure we can see that. So that's good. So the light's coming from this direction this way. And then we're just going to continue working on this here. And we'll dampen that edge there. So I want to try to leave some, and we'll do some flesh tones, cadmium red, yellow ochre. Rinse the brush. More yellow ochre, I think, there. Burnt sienna maybe too, a little bit of burnt sienna. Let's get some color here for the arm. Okay, so I'm going to get some flesh tone there for the arm. It's a little bit lighter over here. Shadows over here. We'll have some blue here for the blue jeans. Maybe it's a little cooler day at the beach and the person has on some blue jeans. Have you ever worn blue jeans at the ocean, at the shore? I have. Sometimes when it's really, really chilly at the beach, you got to put on some jeans or whatever. And this would be a fun time, too, to go out and paint on the beach when you have on some of your favorite blue jeans and you're bringing out your art gear to the ocean and you do some painting on the beach. There's nothing like it. And let's continue here. So we, again, are just getting the overall feel of the figure in the chair. And we're not going to get too bogged down with too many details here. So burnt sienna, burnt umber, and yellow ochre and cadmium red for the flesh tones here. So we're going to make the back of the neck for the figure here. And then we're going to want to go up with some shadow colors up here, like that. And some blue. So I'm mixing some blue, some gold, some gray colors here for the hat, for the brim of the hat, the shadow. And there's the hat here, so we're just going to do the hat with some light. Okay, so we'll put some light on the hat, and then to kind of give the light color of the hat a little bit of, we'll just paint around the hat a little bit with some ocean water or something over here, sky or ocean water, just to give us some kind of feeling of ocean or sky, whatever. Again, this is your painting, your art, you're having fun. So if you want to kind of have a good looking hat here with some really good light on it, you could put some sky color or some ocean color. This might be the ocean. And you just put it right on where the hat is there. Just like that. Like that. Okay, and then the hat goes a little bit over here. And some more shadow over there. And again, just having some fun with this idea. Doesn't have to be perfect. You make a chair, shoulders and an arm, and then the head here with the hat. And some blue and mix in some black in there too. Kind of keep the same colors repeating. So you're going to want to have black and ivory black and Payne's gray everywhere too. Like that. All right, now cobalt blue. That's a good all-purpose blue. I'm just going to do this. The chair, this kind of a cool feel to the metal chair. It's like an aluminum chair. And I'll just add in some different colors to it. Some purple, maybe some of the red in it too. Just to give it a little bit of a different feel to it there. And then we'll get a larger brush. So I'll grab a Raphael number 6 brush here. I use this type of brush all the time, the Raphael Kolinsky sable brush. And we're going to paint this here and give it a nice grayish kind of color. I just added some yellow ochre to whatever's in the palette here. Some splashing. A little bit darker down here. So the sunlight is coming from up above. Again, I put this chair here, so this is another chair, and I put it there just so I can block some of the figure, so I don't have to draw and fuss around drawing and painting as much with the figure there. And I'll do another piece of aluminum chair there. So this is that other chair, so we got that there. And again, we're just having fun, creating some. We're just having some fun creating some compositions. Working on our figure work. Here's another bit of detailed information we can do. There's a easel. So we have an easel here on the beach we're working with. And we'll add a little bit of flesh tone to that maybe too, just to maybe some burnt umber. Maybe some black might look good with this. If you just repeat your colors throughout your composition, it'll look really good. So I think this is fine. And then we'll just do again. We'll make a border of pencil around our composition, just like this. Just like that. And we can even add a little bit of sand color, which is a yellow ochre, like that. We can add a little bit of sand, splash a little bit of sand on here. So just a little bit of that golden yellow ochre color with some splashing with your fine splashing with your brush, which means you just pick up a tiny bit of paint and then splash onto the palette. I have many videos on splashing. If you just type in my name, Chris Petri, splashing, you'll see probably 4 or 5 or even more videos on splashing techniques. So if you like to do or want to try splashing and you haven't really done it too much, check out those videos that I have. Those are really fun to do. They're just practice videos similar to this, a little less format and a little, more fun and free. My splashing videos are pretty much the techniques of it, not really painting a painting or anything like that. And I do many technique-y type videos like this. If you want to geek out on some really cool technique videos, this is what you want to kind of follow my channel here. And I do a lot of paintings too as well. I do flowers, seascapes, landscapes, cityscapes, figure painting, tons of compositions like this where we're just working on some detailed concepts and methods and techniques in watercolor where we're just going to go in and do some figure work. We're going to do some interesting ideas on light, shadows, interesting ideas on light and darks in a painting. All these different kind of things I do on this channel so that you can learn as much as you can about watercolor. It'll take you to the next level. The more things you can learn about watercolor, definitely the better off you're going to be. And especially these kind of things where you learn small, kind of like vignettes of things that are important and key to watercolor. So figures are important in watercolor. You don't always have to put them into your paintings, but they do look great and they do bring a lot of happiness and joy into your paintings if you're adding in figures and interest. You know, people just are interested in people. We're all interested in people and people watching, and when you go places and vacationing and all that kind of thing, we just all enjoy seeing all the different people shopping and sightseeing and all that kind of fun ideas. So again, have a great time with this. I hope you'll enjoy painting with me here on this video. Please watch it again. Watch this numerous times. Paint along with me, and you'll definitely see that your paintings are going to improve, especially your figure paintings and your figure work. Your figure work's going to look much better that you've tried a few of these compositions out with me, okay? And we're going to do more of these in the future, especially if you're giving me thumbs up and you're letting me know in the comment section you like these type of videos. I'll be doing more, okay? I always wanted to mention too, before I go, I have a painting sale coming up. So if you enjoy my painting sales, I have them every once in a while. I haven't probably done a painting sale in a couple years now, but I'm going to be doing one within the next month, I guess. It's probably going to be about a month from now or approximately there. I'll give you more information, and I'll definitely let you know when I'm going to have my painting sale. I'm going to put it right here on YouTube. You'll see all the paintings. I'll show you each one as I go. Maybe I'm going to have 30 or 40 paintings for sale. I'll have a list of what they cost, each of them, and then you can just order them right by just sending me your email, letting me know which one you like. If it's still available, I'll send it out to you, okay? So we're going to do it the same way we did the last time. So if you remember last time I did my painting sale, it's going to work the same exact way. So I'm sure many of you are excited. You're going to want to have a painting. And I always mention too, if you haven't done it so far, please subscribe on the right-hand side below, because in this way you're going to know when that painting sale is coming up. I want to make sure you know about it. And if you're not subscribed, you might not hear about it. And then the next thing you know, it's going to be 2 or 3 weeks or a month later, and all the paintings are going to be sold. Last time I think I sold out mostly all my paintings. Only a few didn't sell. And now I have a whole bunch of new paintings ready to go, ready to put on YouTube here. So I'm excited. I can't wait to share my new paintings with you. Many of them are really interesting. Many of them are the paintings from my actual book. So if you haven't checked out my new book, I will take a quick... This is my new book, Watercolor Methods for Success. If you haven't seen this book for the first time, it's easy enough. Right in the comment section below, you'll see the link for Amazon.com. You can go there and get this book. It's a really beautiful book that I have created. Just really, I think it's only about 3 or 4 months now it's been on YouTube and on Amazon, I should say. You know, it's got tons of great paintings that you can work along with and paint with. I have, figure paintings, and we do all kinds of interesting offbeat things like beautiful birds and portraits again, figure painting if you like, but tons of seascapes and cityscapes, landscapes, boat scenes, 3 or 4 lighthouses at least, city scenes, pubs, all kinds of interesting, tons of flower paintings in here. Oh, just tons of still life, all kinds of cool stuff, bottles, cups, mugs, interesting kind of things like that, offbeat things. We do city scenes again, everything. And then I cover all my palette information, my brushes, my palettes, my colors, interesting information that you're going to need when you're getting out started in the basics of watercolor, learning all about tonal values and doing black and white sketches, tonal value sketches. And again, all my art gear is in here, all my supplies, my pencils, my brushes, my papers, my paints, everything is in here. So this is a really great book if you're interested in seeing all about my methods and techniques that I use in watercolor. It's all in this book. Tons of paintings you can work from. You can just set these up, set this book up right across from you and start painting all these wonderful paintings. There's tons of information in here. I give you all the colors I use for all the paintings. So you have a great, valuable resource to use if you like my videos and you want to follow along with all the things that I do in my watercolor journey. It's right here in my new book. And again, my new paintings will be out just in about a month or so, maybe a little bit less than a month. I have to get everything all together. But again, I'm going to send out updates on my channel, so you have to be subscribed if you really want to stay tuned and get some, some paintings. If you want to buy a painting or two, or last time I think someone wanted to buy all of my paintings, and I told them, oh, I can't sell them all to one person. I want to have everybody enjoy the paintings, okay? But maybe this time it might be different. I don't know. But in any case, I'm just having fun with watercolors, enjoying the watercolor journey. I hope you are too. So I'll be back very, very soon. Maybe this, again, these next couple weeks or so, I'll announce pretty much the date when I'm going to have the painting sale. And then you'll know when it is, and then you'll just, be able to check out the video, pick out whatever painting you might like, and that's it. All right, so we'll see you on the next video. Again, thanks so much for following my channel, the great comments, all your support. Thank you so much, everyone, and I'm going to see you in just a while.